Hey you guys, it is William calling from Wiwibloggs, and me, Tom, and Bernardo have just watched semi-final 1 of Eurovision 2023 here inside M&S Bank Arena. We're going to get close, says the director. We are squeezing in. 15 sang, but only 10 qualified. Shall we talk about it? Let's do this! You guys, I gotta say, I'm pretty sure I got all 10 correct from the prediction video. These are the acts that it seemed pretty obvious they would go through. Yeah. My first reaction is that I'm really sad for Latvia. Yeah. I love Sudden Lights. Absolutely. I wanted them to qualify, but apparently European televoters did not. I think they would have benefited from a jury system. And yeah, that was the shock non-qualifier. I'm sad for Malta, as it was such a delicious performance, fun, engaging, and yeah, they did Malta proud, and they proved you don't have to be a diva from Malta in order to get attention. Tom, first impressions.
Absolutely. I think my biggest disappointment is Latvia. I love the British indie pop feel. I kind of grew up with it when I was younger. That's why I would have loved that to qualify. Malta, a little less so for me. It was a bit too busy. It should have ended. It should have started how it ended. But I mean, again, never going to qualify. Azerbaijan, love those guys. It was never going to qualify, but it's just a beautiful, sweet song. Coming off the Loreen was always going to be a hard ask.
Oh my God, first of all, thank God y'all voted for Mimi Cat.
Yes.
Because I was dying up in there, to be honest with you. And when her name got called, there was like this sense of relief came into me. Because I always thought that if she was in semi-final 2, she would sail through. But this was such a strong semi-final that I was like, yeah, maybe this is not going to work. And thank God y'all voted, and she's making it through. Like, ditto to what you guys said. I think Latvia, precious song and artist. They would have benefited from a jury system as well. Because I think they would make it true with a jury system. And Malta, I think they picked at the right time, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's sad. I love Malta. Now, you guys, let's go around and say who we think won the semifinal, remembering that this is a televote-only system. I honestly think that Finland won the semifinal. The crowd reaction, it was the loudest. It's been the loudest in every rehearsal, and that includes the rehearsals that are just with the press, who are basically Eurovision fans. Yeah. I feel like Kárja, the joy, it came through the playfulness, it came through even when he was talking to Alicia Dixon in the green room. He has this characterful kind of, he's a caricature of himself, but he's also sincere. It's not an act, but he's like playful with himself. That comes through on stage. He sets himself apart from Loreen by having movement. This moves all over the place, whereas she's pretty static, right? She's on the box, but he uses the full stage. I think it's a very deliberate move by the Finnish team to say, we've got to contrast with her, so we're going bright, we're going to make it pop, and we are going to move that body. He was the winner tonight, and he was my personal winner as well.
I couldn't agree more. Finland, I think, won the night as well. But what I will say is all the negative comments of Loreen's box can now die, in my opinion. Yeah. It's gone. Yeah. I think what the delegation did is made the camera cuts slicker. It was just a beautiful, beautiful show. And yes, so Finland won the night for me, but I think Sweden came a close second.
Oh, can I just say one thing? I like how the bars, you know how the panels break behind, so now you see bars every few meters? That was annoying me in the rehearsals, but tonight she worked with it. She stood straight and they panned out, so she became like one of the bars.
Yes.
You got a sense of height and depth, and it really made up for what we thought was a slightly unsettling appearance of the bars.
I'm going to be the black sheep of this group, and I'm going to go on a limb and say that Sweden won the semi-final.
Very likely.
The thing is that the Eurovision fans have seen Loreen's rehearsal, and everyone was like, well, she's not that good vocally tonight. Well, last night, this afternoon, but tonight, she proved everyone that you don't need a box, you don't need a fancy backdrop. If you have the vocal, the presence, the talent, and the ability to portray what your song is trying to portray, you will captivate them. And Loreen is perfect at that. She did that in 2012, and I think she will do that again. I think it's more accessible than Kárja, and mind me, I love Kárja, but I think it's a more accessible song, both to televoters and jury. I think she might have won the televote, but in a combined system of jury and televote, I think it will be ultra tight, and there are other songs that can come up in the mix. This is not a done deal for anyone, really.
I just want to say one thing. You had the list of things Loreen had. You forgot hair extensions. You forgot fingernails. You forgot that outfit. Our girl was serving visually, musically, sensually, and spiritually. That was a moment, and it's a moment none of us are going to forget. I also think she can still win the Eurovision Song Contest, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if Kárja could have a televote like Kalush Orchestra did. Could this be be that out there.
I think they need a televote like Kalisz Orchestra for it to win. I just don't think that the juries will respect it as much as the public will. I think the juries will like it. I don't think they'll love it, and I think that will be Karia's detriment.
All right, well, we've got to talk about some of the other acts. You know, for my third tonight, it's either Moldova or Israel. And people may be surprised by Moldova, but this gets such a loud reception. This gets so much attention every time it's on. People in the audience love it. It has that deep house beat that's really going to appeal to a lot of, club goers in Eastern Europe. This has that, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly.
This has that deep club beat that so many people love. Plus, it's got the folkloric elements. Plus, it's got EDM. And I need to stand up straight and tall. I don't know why I'm standing like that. But I just think Moldova could be the dark horse that is galloping ever faster alongside the unicorn, Noah Carell. She was great. She really brought it. And the final point for me, her voice. Noah Carell's voice was on point tonight. She sounded great, she looked great, and she was moving great. So this is looking tight at the top here in semifinal one.
Oh, it's very difficult to. I think I agree with everything you said about Moldova. I think people have been keeping this very, very under the radar, to be honest with you. And I think it has mass appeal, especially within Eastern countries. This would be like proper banger. As for Malta, as for Israel, I just don't like the song. I mean, she is amazing, right? She has the voice, she has the stage presence. She's like a proper established pop star, and you can see that, right? I really think she deserved a better song. But of course, this qualified, and I think this will fight for a top 10 spot in the grand final, no doubt.
You know what's interesting? I think if Karia wasn't here, Noah Carell would have the quirky song of the year. But the fact is, there are these two quirky songs. Now that helps both of them. They both cut through the polish and cut through the noise of a lot of the other songs by being so different. But I think the Finland-Israel axis, it's strong, but only one can win in this battle of crazy.
Exactly.
And I just, for whatever reason, the brightness of Finland is contrasting the darkness of Sweden, whereas Noah Carell and Sweden...
It's kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah. And I gotta say, I love her, and I think she's phenomenal, and I still think that could come top 5.
Absolutely. Just swinging back to Moldova quickly, just like Zdobsha's from last year, when you have Eurovision production, you can see what Moldova can do. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happened this year as well. Because relatively speaking, what we saw in Moldova national final, it's nothing compared to what we saw tonight. It was epic. It never is. It never would be. That bass, once that bass in the chorus hits you, it is intoxicating. It is brilliant. And I'm seeing top 10 vibes from Moldova this year. Now Noah Carell, for me. Though I love her performance, it just feels like a performance of two halves. It feels like this is the bit where I sing, this is the bit where I dance. And though she does both brilliantly, it doesn't mesh together. It doesn't mesh together. Not like Chanel from last, Spain. Chanel from last year.
Y'all gotta stop comparing everything to Chanel. Chanel did not invent dance. Dance comes in many forms. When was the last time you saw a unicorn doing Pilates in the dance break?
Never. But no, Carell pulls it off.
She pulls it off.
But my issue is the fact that it looks like two separate performances. Yes. That's all it is. They're brilliant. They're both brilliant performances. They're just a bit too separate for my liking.
But what a bold move to have as your recap a dance break where there is no visible singing on the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, vote for our LED, vote for our graphic, vote for our body. And hey, I'm one of those people who will vote for that body, that LED, and that unicorn. But it's an interesting strategy. Yeah. They're taking a risk. Israel understands that there's strong songs in this competition, and they're like, why the hell not go for it? Do something out of the box.
Absolutely.
But look, I want to talk about a few others while we have time. If you haven't noticed, we're waiting to get into the press conference, so we're like just trying to get our seats. But this is the thing. Vejna also really impressed me from Czechia, My Sister's Crown. This is so powerful, so emotional. I love when they walk down the thing with their hair braids in the pink and power together. A clear qualifier. I think they could make the top 10 in the final.
100%. Simple choreography, done, executed really, really well. That's all I've got to say. It was brilliant. I'll see you in the final.
I think vocally on point tonight. The hair braids, kind of an extension of their bodies, an extension of their soul and their fight and their power and their message. Like really emotional, like camera work, really, really like on point, and also their movement, their positioning, everything was ta, and Well, people responded
Did
to
you
it,
say
right?
cha-cha-cha?
I said ta-ta-ta.
Girl, speaking
I don't want to get copyright hits.
Also, the hair is just unbelievable. Worst pun of the night, but I love saying it. I want to talk about Alessandra from Norway, because while I loved this visually, I felt she was slightly off. I think the vocal, she sounded hoarse. Not unicorn, hoarse. And I think she's going to need to rest that voice ahead of the final, because she can deliver, but it just wasn't quite coming together. So maybe this is a good thing. It gives her the hunger to keep going and to improve when she is in the grand final.
And I think when she kicked off the night, so you can tell the nerves were there. That opening verse was shaky. I'm not going to say it was shaky, but when she eased into the performance, I think she did really well tonight. Though, yeah, bit of a rough start, but I think she really did well.
Yeah. She was the last to be announced, really, and I was scared that she wasn't.
You didn't think she was going to do it?
I was like, Malta is going to pull through, but then she did pull through, and overall, the song was what pushed this to the grand final, right?
Yeah.
She really needs to rest that voice. She really needs to rest before Saturday. That's all I have to say.
The Queen of the Kings needs some honey lemon tea. Get your court jester to serve it hot. All right, I want to talk about Switzerland. Remo forward, water gun. This was on the cusp. This was a borderline qualifier to most people, and I think it just came together. The voice was perfect. He does not falter vocally, and I think they've done a good job at kind of making his strength come through in the choreography. The way he moves that body, he doesn't look like a mover when you see him off stage, but then on stage he really just elevates, escalates, and slays. And again, the staging. Sasha Jean-Baptiste, she knows how to do this aesthetic. It looks like a music video at times. Every shot pops. The color is just
better
perfect.
than the music video.
Yeah, agreed.
It was better than the music video. For me, this wasn't a qualifier before the night. It wasn't. But it was so evocative. It was so powerful. It made me stop and stare. And obviously it made a lot of people do that because it got the votes.
I think Remo 4 is an amazing artist, an amazing vocalist, but you can see that he still lacks the experience of performing in big stages like this. And through the week, he's been getting better and better and better after each run-through he does. And Eurovision is about one thing, and we all know what it is. It's about peaking at the right time, and I think he really did peak at the right time, because this was his shot, and he makes it to the final.
It was brilliant.
Is the press conference starting? Do you know? Okay, we should probably go. So just a final point for me is that Croatia's let 3. I've liked this more in rehearsal than I liked it tonight. For some reason, the energy seemed down this evening. I hope they improve upon that for the grand final.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It was just something that was a little bit off tonight. I would have been shocked if it didn't qualify because it was a public vote. The juries weren't involved, so I thought it was a surefire qualifier. But yes, it was a little bit off tonight. Hopefully they'll work on it for Saturday.
Yeah, agree what you said. This for the juries in the grand final, I think it will struggle, but I think it was a sure qualifier in an 100% televote-based system. Yes,
it's so visually arresting. It grips you. Well, that's what we think. What do you think? Who was the winner of semifinal 1 of Eurovision 2023? Did the top 10 you had on your list go through? Let us know here on Wiwibloggs.
Make sure you subscribe and check all those social channels.
And you can also check the book of this person over here. It's Wild Dances, My Queer and Curious Journey.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. To Eurovision.
Shout out to Nigella Lawson. Thank you for the tweet. I love your fish finger borta. I love your aubergine and beef feta. I love you. We'll see you later.
Bye.